That's our kid. Unbelievable. Oh my God.
You see this? This is how it starts. Okay, you guys know me by now. I've reported on stories like this for quite some time, but this one broke my heart into wee pieces. 10 years old, 10 years of age, and right in front of our eyes we witness his trauma. A trauma that will now follow him wherever he goes. A trauma that may lead him to act in a different way when dealing with law enforcement. A trauma that may change his state of mind, potentially resulting in an officer fearing for his life situation. You see, this is where the breakdown between law enforcement and the black community starts. In an age where the only thing you should be worried about is what's for dinner or when the next game of pickup is, but this child is here worried for his life, to the point that he wet himself in a video that has since been circulated worldwide. And while I feel it's important to highlight this story, it's not fair that this child's anguish has been witnessed by the world. And in responding, Chief Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson said Wednesday that the police followed all protocol and rules when they detained 10-year-old Michael Thomas Jr., who matched the description of a young man 10 to 12 years old that was passing out a gun. Well, let me ask, was it protocol when they told the child they knew he had escaped from juvenile and had a gun, rather than asking him? Now, this case is not cut and dry. By all means, law enforcement officers are undoubtedly regularly confronted with situations like this, especially in Chicago. But the question I want to pose to everyone watching this video, and please feel free to DM me any examples to the contrary, is would an unarmed 10-year-old white boy be placed in handcuffs for 15 minutes? Would he be held for this length of time to the point of unimaginable fear, all while his family and friends are close by confirming his identity and his innocence? Because this is where we must move beyond partisan opinions and have some empathy. A child will now go forth in his life petrified of those sworn to protect and serve. And for what reason? Protocol? Well, officers who shoot and kill unarmed black men and have been cleared of wrongdoing were also just following protocol. Does that make it right? And this is part of why the black community has so little confidence in law enforcement. A recent study by Pew Research showed that only about a third of blacks, but roughly 3/4 of whites, say police in their communities do an excellent job or good job in using the appropriate force on suspects. All I'm saying is we must look at this situation through the lens of race and wonder what would have happened if Michael Thomas Jr. had been white, in order to understand the complexities and consequences of such an interaction. And in order to do that, we must refrain from the reflexive, well, what was he doing in the first place and why did he run? Victim blaming impulses. This is a child. 10 years living on this earth. People are out here doing exactly what they did to justify the shooting of Tamir Rice, trying to rationalize this interaction by questioning a child's motives. And again, let me ask you, would you be responding this way if it was a 10-year-old white child? And in closing, while this video has been shared millions of times, I think we can really do better to support this child. You know, the way the world united to support Keaton Jones? Let's send our support to Michael Thomas Jr. and tell him that he's not alone and he has nothing to be embarrassed about. That we empathize with him and support him. That when confronted with an unimaginably difficult situation, he proved himself far stronger than most of us can imagine. Because we are with you, young man. Follow me on Instagram at Francis M. Maxwell, and on Twitter also at Francis M. Maxwell. Make sure to like and share the video. You can get the TYT app here. And as always, continue to resist.